Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Math with Mr. Stevens. Today we're going to be continuing with Module 4, continuing with Lesson 5, this time diving into, or Lesson 15, this time diving into the Lesson 15 problem set. Okay, we're going to start with question number 2. On our exit ticket we had questions similar to this, really kind of just looking at what type of slope are we going to have. And really, we can find this answer by looking at the lesson summary that we should have checked in on at the very end of a few videos ago. Really just taking a look at the direction of our slope and being able to determine whether it's going to be a positive slope or a negative slope. So when looking at question number 2, that's one we're going to begin with. We aren't given, we know we have an x-axis or y-axis here, we have an x-axis here, and we just have this line L. We don't know anything about it. We don't know any of the points that are given on this line. We don't know how large our distances are between our origin and any of our values that could potentially exist on our x or y axes. We don't know any of that stuff. All we know is the shape of the line. All we know is the direction of the line. And from there we have to determine whether it's going to be positive or whether it's going to be negative. So in order to do that, in looking from left to right, in looking from left to right, we need to be able to determine whether this is going to be positive or negative. So, again, looking from left to right, we need to see, is it going up or is it going down? In this particular case, and a quick way to figure that out is if you put one point here and then a point later on the line, is it higher or is it lower than your original point? It should be pretty easy for us to see. It is higher. This point is higher than this point is here. So when we go to determine what type of slope it has, we are going to say that this is a positive slope. And why is it a positive slope? Because the line is ascending from left to right. Okay. Ascending, or we can also put inclining. Okay, essentially it's going up. Any of those things is perfectly fine in order to justify your answer. And so when we're looking at this, any slope that we see, any slope that we happen to encounter, we can determine right off the bat whether it's going to be positive or negative. So let's turn the page. Let's look at one like question number 4. Question number 4 is a little bit different than the ones we've seen before, mostly because our y-axis now has rational numbers on it. Each one of our axes are essentially number lines. So we don't just have whole values in there, we can also potentially have rational numbers like we do here. So we have a point here at 0, 0, and then really we don't have another point on there. So let's go ahead and put a point there, we can put a point here. And those are really our 3 points that cross at whole values. We could look at this one here, or this one here, or this one here, or this one here, but none of them meet at another whole value, or even in this particular case, another rational number that we actually know the value of. Okay, this right here is 1, negative 1.5. Its x value is 1. Its y value down here is at negative 1.5. That's not negative 3. Negative 1.5, you get really close. It's really tiny there on the y-axis. This point up here is negative 1, positive 1.5. This point obviously is our origin at 0, 0. So we can use any of these 3 points, going from here to here, going from here to here, going from here to here, or from here to here, looking at how do we get our slope. So let's look at how we get from one point to the next. We're going to go from left to right. So I'm going to go from this top point here all the way down to my origin, because it does happen to cross through my origin. So to do that, I have to go down, not down 3, but down 1.5. So I'm going negative 1.5 to get down to here to my x-axis, and I'm going 1 to the right, positive 1 to the right. So my slope is going to look like this. It's going to be negative 1.5 divided by 1, positive 1. And so my slope, my m, is going to equal negative 1.5. Okay, pretty straightforward. That's how we find our slope. Hopefully that makes sense. There are going to be a few more that are going to be coming down the line. Make sure you have a good, solid understanding of how those work as well.